CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a serious crash near Hanover, which killed 3 high school students yesterday and seriously injured a 4th. Scott Miller has more on the community grief just months after a similar tragedy involving Grey Bruce teenagers.
A metal cross marks the spot where 3 teens lost their lives following a lunch hour crash near Hanover on Tuesday.
It's just an unimaginable loss.
Around noon on Tuesday, a vehicle carrying 4 teens left a rural gravel road between Hanover and Durham, rolling several times, say West Grey police investigators. 3 of the teens were ejected from the vehicle and died on scene. Another teen suffered life-threatening injuries and was airlifted to a London hospital. All 4 were students at John Diefenbaker Senior School in Hanover, all between the ages of 15 and 17.
You can't expect it, you can't do anything about it, but, you know, we can come together and support each other. We'll support the school, we'll support the families any way we can, and we'll support each other as a community.
We're deeply saddened by the tragical motor vehicle collision in West Grey that claimed the lives of 3 young people and left another critically injured. Our hearts are with their families, friends, classmates, first responders, and the entire community as we all process this heartbreaking news, says a Facebook post from the Canadian Mental Health Association of Bruce Grey, amongst many groups and organizations offering condolences today.
Sadly, this isn't the first time this year that a school and community in Grey Bruce County has had to deal with this kind of tragedy.
In May, 4 students from Walkerton District Community School and their softball coach and teacher were killed in a crash north of London. Flags in both communities were flown half-staff today.
Similar heartbreaking loss.
For many of our students, staff, and families, we recognize that the shock and sadness they are experiencing may be compounded by recent tragedies that have occurred in some of our other schools. Much like those situations, we know that these students had many close connections and will be sadly missed by large networks of peers and staff, says a news release from the Blue Water District School Board. Now, late this afternoon, the West Grey Police shared that the condition of the 4th victim of Tuesday's crash has improved from life-threatening injuries to critical but stable. Some bit of good news on one of the darkest days in Hanover's history.
Our community is deeply saddened by this tragic event.
The school board says their tragedy response team is offering counseling to students this week and for as long as they need it. Counseling in the community is also being offered. In Hanover, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Provincial police say 2 people were seriously injured in a crash near Walkerton this afternoon. According to OPP, the driver crashed into a tree on Highway 9 near Riversdale. Police say both people in the vehicle have substantial injuries and they had closed the road for their investigation. A 21-year-old man from London who murdered his friend when he was a teenager was handed a 7-year sentence today. As Nick Paparella reports, because of his age at the time, that was the maximum punishment he could have faced.
David Oliver was described in a Sarnia courtroom as a kind and loving man who should still be alive today. But in July of 2020, the 29-year-old from Kettle and Stony Point First Nation was brutally shot as he shared a marijuana joint with a young friend along Army Camp Road in Lambton Shores. That friend would end up being his killer, shooting Oliver twice in the head and dragging his body into a wooded area. The man was only 16 years old at the time. He wouldn't be arrested until years later and cannot be identified because he was a youth. This summer, he pled guilty to second-degree murder. As he handed down his sentence, Justice Mark Poland said no motive or reason for killing David Oliver has ever been revealed in this case. The court heard the shooting was unprovoked, with the judge saying this was the act of an unhinged and morally depraved individual. In a joint sentencing submission, both the Crown and the defense asked for the maximum under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, which is 7 years, 4 years in custody, and 3 years under community supervision. Justice Poland said the entirely senseless murder of David Oliver is hard to characterize. The circumstances are horrible and unthinkable. Now 21 years of age, the man was given the maximum sentence under law. With credit for time already served, he has 29 months left behind bars in an adult facility. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Officials at St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital say they're considering body scanning technology after a knife incident this past weekend. Staff say a code silver was called in the emergency room early Sunday morning. They say police were called because a person pulled a knife refusing to leave the hospital. According to police, there were no injuries and the man surrendered to officers. Hospital executives issued a statement saying they take safety very seriously, which includes having body-worn cameras for security members as well. Federal government officials were in St. Thomas today announcing hundreds of thousands of dollars to support people battling opioid addiction. With more on the funding and who's getting it, here's Lauren Stallone.
Local leaders are announcing a federal investment that they say will improve addiction and mental health services in St. Thomas and Elgin County.
We have the great opportunity to celebrate a federal investment of $640,000 over 2 years through Health Canada's Emergency Treatment Fund.
Leaders say the investment will enhance local response to opioid-related harms through providing access to care and supporting culturally safe approaches to healing and wellness.
We will be able to make it easier for people to talk to someone when they need support most through faster, flexible, one conversation at a time counseling and coaching focused on what matters to them.
Elgin Ontario Health Team says the funding will expand its outreach so those struggling with addiction can receive help without any additional barriers.
We are also going to equip more local helpers with training in compassionate, trauma-aware care. So every interaction feels safe.
Local MPs say the funding speaks to the opioid crisis many communities across Ontario face.
The effect in terms of overdoses, the social effects, I think in particular about the breakdown of families that continues to happen, and of course the strain on services that we see, especially in our hospitals.
Mayor Joe Preston says he is proud to see community partners working together to make necessary changes in St. Thomas.
We've proven our mettle, if you will, at the provincial and federal level to say, well, let St. Thomas try it. They'll show you how to maybe do it right.
Leaders say today's announcement is just the beginning, and they will continue to work to put an end to opioid-related harms. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Grey Bruce OPP say they've carried out one of their largest ever drug busts. Police posted this image on social media saying they seized more than $250,000 worth of fentanyl, cocaine and meth from a home in Wyerton last month, and 2 people were arrested. A new supportive housing project in London is almost ready to welcome 50 new residents.
But there's something that happens when you walk through the doors here and over the threshold into someone's new apartment. They actually take that label, that situational label of homeless, and they get to throw that down and not have to pick up that label again.
Funding was announced today for Cove's Landing, a 50-unit retrofit of the former Elmwood Place long-term care home. It'll be operated by a housing nonprofit and includes wraparound supports for tenants. Move-in is expected to happen in March. Multiple sources contributed to a $21 million total in funding to get this project completed.
Under most circumstances, we're friendly competitors, but for this project, competition took a back seat. We all share a deep commitment to our city and believe that everyone deserves a safe, stable place to call home.
I think that the partners and the people who are here today completely understand the work that needs to be done to ensure that there is a home for the most vulnerable people in our community, but there's also a home for every single person who has ambition and a future in this country.
A heated debate today at London's Planning Committee meeting on the heritage value of a Hyde Park landmark, a Victorian-era building currently the home of Crossings Pub.
Living in the area, this is an iconic building and it has a lot of significance to the community, and I can't imagine the landscape without it.
The Planning Committee decided against granting the building heritage designation despite a recommendation from the heritage planner. Councillors then approved rezoning the property for a pair of 15-story apartment buildings. The ward councillor says the developer will create a commemorative feature incorporating parts of the building, but they aren't actually required to do so.
despite the fact that they're not held to it. They truly want to incorporate what they believe is important. There is heritage aspects, both of the building that's there and the surrounding areas.
An annual survey conducted for City Hall found almost a quarter of local respondents are unhappy with their quality of life. 500 Londoners were surveyed, with 24% describing their quality of life as poor or very poor. The main issues cited were homelessness, as well as worsening traffic and road conditions. There's been little change in the results since the pandemic, but back in 2019, only 6% of respondents said they were unhappy with their quality of life. Fire officials in Strathroy say they're investigating whether someone intentionally lit a fire that destroyed a vacant store early this morning. Crews say the former Scoops variety store went up in flames around 4 a.m. No one was inside at the time. No specific damage estimate has been provided, but the district fire chief says the building is a total write-off. Investigators say they're now focused on figuring out what started the fire.
We had flames coming out of the building and heavy smoke in the area. We put on an aggressive exterior defensive attack on the building and got it knocked down. In the process, we did have a couple walls and the roof also all collapsed on the building when we got here, after we got here. One of the leading reporters covering the World Junior Sexual Assault trial was back in London today, coming off the release of his new book, which delves into Canadian hockey culture and the systemic issues within it. With more on his message to students today, here's Rita Ismail.
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me in the back?
TSN senior correspondent Rick Westhead was in London today for a guest lecture at Western University.
There was enough public pressure because
Westhead's reporting frequently tackles controversial or underreported issues in sports, most notably breaking the Hockey Canada Juniors trial.
$3.5 million lawsuit against Hockey Canada.
Westhead was among the first to publicly report on the lawsuit and settlement related to the 2018 incident involving the Hockey Canada junior team.
The public trust in journalists is lower than it's ever been. So I love taking these opportunities to explain to people how we actually do our work, how, when we get credible news tips, the amount of work and effort that it goes in to try to corroborate what people are telling us, how stories are edited, fact-checked, how they're legally vetted.
One of his recent major works is the book We Breed Lions, confronting Canada's troubled hockey culture.
This book, I interviewed 58 men who were in their 20s who played either major junior hockey or Tier 2 Junior A hockey within the last 10 years. And the stories they told me were amazing. And the through line through all of these were they all love hockey. There's no arguing it's an amazing game. I love hockey. But at the same time, they recognized real issues with the off-ice culture of the game, moving away from their family homes into billet families, really feeling a need to fit in on their new teams.
Westhead says proceeds from the book sales will go directly to organizations helping tackle gender-based violence.
I'm making an effort to try to make sure that organizations that help confront issues of gender-based violence, like the London Abused Women's Centre, like the Toronto Rape Crisis Centre, and other organizations like that across Canada, that I'm committing proceeds to go to help those people who are doing that kind of work.
The award-winning journalist says he will continue to report on issues many would prefer remain hidden. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
There's optimism among local trades workers. Demand for their skills is about to ramp up. And that message was shared with many young people taking part in the annual Skilled Trades Career Fair happening here in London. Sean Irvin reports.
The Level Up Career Fair is designed to attract young people to the skilled trades. And on the surface, it seems to be working.
I want to be like an engineer when I'm growing up, and I like how all of this is like hands-on and you actually get to do it.
It's fun to be in the trades and it's fun to be hands-on. I'm just more in touch and I can focus better.
While engaging young people remains a key priority for trade unions and organizations, they can't ignore a slowdown in some sectors. It is reflected in a drop in the number of information booths at the show. Still, exhibitors contend most trades remain in demand.
We're doing very well. It's not the record that we were during COVID.
What I would suggest right now, the unemployment rate for construction in southwestern Ontario is about 4.6%.
But this event is focused on the future. Each exhibitor CTV News spoke with anticipates job growth over the next 2 years as regional and federal building projects come online.
My big worry is in the future when the EV plant gets going full steam, when the nation building projects come on stream, that we will be desperately short of people for, I would say, 7 to 10 years.
Some saw the change coming and got in early. Justin Spurgeon left Cami Automotive to become a pipe fitter apprentice.
So glad I made the switch, because this is the type of job where then that would be out of work.
Amy Simon left a career in journalism to join the trades.
That's something I wanted to try, so I just found my close to and walked in the back door, and the rest is history.
But there will be tremendous opportunities over the next 2 to 3 years. Overwhelming opportunities, I would actually say.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The London Knights were in need of a comeback earlier tonight in Michigan.
A 2 for 2 on the penalty kill now. Howry over to the left wing. Shot tipped in front. They score. That's Andoni Femus on the backside. Got his stick on it. And London's back within 1.
Now, unfortunately for the Knights, that was as close as they would get tonight. The Flint Firebirds got out in front early and never gave the lead back. A positive note for London, Brody Cook scored his first career OHL goal. The final score, though, Firebirds 3, Knights 2, and London's next game is Friday night when they host the Owen Sound Attack. Later on CTV News, taking transit for a joyride. Hamilton police investigating after someone took off with a city bus. Canada's main stock index was up on strength in gold prices. The TSX up 418 points. In New York, the Dow added 327. The Nasdaq lost 62. The Canadian dollar fell 1/3 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained almost $100 an ounce. Oil dropped about $2.50 a barrel. Specifics are expected tomorrow, but when it comes to the second phase of new nation-building projects, they're expected to include mining and energy development. With more on what will likely be unveiled tomorrow, here's Abigail Beeman.
Silism's LNG is charting a new course for a better future.
A promotional video explains the Silism's mobile LNG facility, one of the major projects expected to be added to the list by the Prime Minister in Prince Rupert Thursday.
And has North America's shortest marine route to growing Asian markets.
In addition to Silism's in BC, CTV News has learned the Prime Minister is expected to announce a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, and the Crawford Nickel Mine project in Northern Ontario.
50% of global nickel comes from Indonesia. The Chinese own 75% of those mines. We have to disrupt their stranglehold of the supply chain.
Mark Carney has faced criticism for picking projects already in various stages of development.
There's not a single project that he has launched that was not already in the making or approved before he took office.
In 2017, Dominic LeBlanc, still a minister now, said construction on the Sisson mine should start the next year.
I think that North America and Canada benefit strategically.
That mine has faced more than a decade of environmental approvals and delays. The defense minister today asked about the U.S.'s nearly $21 million contribution to it.
Our Defense Department is cooperating with our Department of Natural Resources in order to help, first of all, identify the extent of critical minerals in Canada.
These types of developments can carry dire and very expensive long-term liabilities. Short-term needs are very real in the Canadian economy. Long-term thinking also is needed.
As for the status of an east-west pipeline pushed by Alberta, no word that it will be on tomorrow's list. Danielle Smith has said she's in daily negotiations with Ottawa, hopeful that a memorandum of understanding will be ready by Sunday's Grey Cup or shortly after. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Mainly cloudy conditions holding overnight. Now, parts of Canada have been seeing
the northern lights. We've been under this thick deck of clouds, so that's put things in terms of being able to see the northern lights, not so much. Overcast conditions expected as we push through the overnight once again, but peaks of sunshine as we head into tomorrow morning. Thank you, Deb Lynn. I love the costume dogs. Ivy, Linda. Yes, a great photo. If you're heading out in the morning, the temperature between 0 and +1. Stay with us. I'll have all your local weather details next.
Welcome back. Julie Atchison with me on the desk now. We had such a snowy start to the week, but things have mellowed out since then into kind of just a dreary fall pattern here, it feels like.
It's dull out there, overcast, overnight, still a chance for a few spotty showers. I did want to recap the snowfall amounts, though, in our region, Carlyle. Now, at the London airport, this was the lake effect snow that brought all the road closures and issues to our region, picking up about 17 centimeters, as you can see. But in London, where the snow squall hit the hardest, close to 30 centimeters. Glencoe, the winner, 58 centimeters. And if you're from that area, definitely packing a punch. The melt was on today. The high in London hitting 5 degrees. The high in Midwestern Ontario hitting 4 to 5. Overnight, low of +1, and tonight we'll sit at about the freezing mark. As we take a look at the satellite radar, still dealing with off-lake precipitation, and that'll be our weather story overnight. There is a slight probability for showers. We could see some mixing with some snowflakes, and that'll be the story heading into tomorrow. We've had this weak shortwave move through, and in between these systems tomorrow, the winds will pick up out of the west. So we will have some gusty westerly winds as high pressure starts to build in. So that area of high pressure will bring some nice dry low-level air that will break up the cloud cover, and we'll have some peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Overnight, anywhere from 0 to +1 across most of the region, and a bit milder this time of year right along that lake shore. This forecast model depicts the lake effect showers quite nicely, so you can see they are quite scattered and sparse, but there is the risk for that mixing as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Now, Middlesex County, Sarnia, Lambton, Chatham-Kent, Elgin, you'll see a nice mix of sun and cloud across the area. Where the cloud deck will hold is in through parts of Grey and Bruce, and you'll be in and out of a few showers. Now, in terms of measurable rain tomorrow, unless you get under one of these lake effect showers, we won't get anything. It's the high pressure area that's trying to build in, but it's that wind that continues over Lake Huron that keeps things a bit unsettled. So chance of showers in London tomorrow, but a mix of sun and cloud. Winds out of the west 30 with gusts of 50. The rainfall totals maps tells that story quite nicely, because you can see where the rain is through Goderich and here on Perth County. KW, you'll see a sprinkle or two, and towards Owen Sound, but areas southwest of that will be back into a nice mix of sun and cloud. So temperatures as we head through the weekend are going to rebound just a bit. We're back up to +8 on Friday with full sunshine. Saturday, overcast with a chance of nighttime rain. Saturday is the London Santa Claus Parade, and if you are heading out at parade time, temperatures will be above the freezing mark. So looking good. The rain should hold off until late Saturday night. Periods of rain expected overnight into early Sunday, and then we'll taper off to showers, but double digits expected as we wrap up the weekend. A mix of sun and cloud on Monday and 7 and 5 degrees heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. So off-lake showers here on Perth, Grey Bruce tomorrow. They will be scattered in nature, not an all-day rain, but you'll see some peaks of sunshine as well. 5 degrees. It'll be 7 on Friday with full sunshine. Friday will be the best day over the next 7. Perhaps you can get those Christmas lights up heading into Saturday as well. Cloudy with a chance of nighttime rain. Sunday showers in the forecast, and daytime highs over the weekend from 7 to +9. Early next week, right around where we should be, from 5 to 7 degrees. No measurable snow in this forecast, but the chance for showers moving in tomorrow. With that off-lake component, we will see some scattered light rain. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. Hamilton police say they've laid charges against a man they say stole a city bus last night. As Allison Hurst reports, the apparent joyride lasted only 15 minutes, but it was enough time to even pick up some passengers along the way.
A full-sized bus similar to this one is what was taken for that joyride.
That's honestly crazy. It reminds me of the movie Speed. That's insane. That's crazy.
Hamilton police say it happened around 9 p.m. last night. When the driver got out to take a break, the suspect got in. The 36-year-old drove a bus similar to this along the route, stopping at scheduled stops, letting riders on and off freely.
One person was looking to board the bus at the time and was turned away because their pass was invalid, and the driver made them pay the actual fare.
The joyride took the bus up Hamilton Mountain, with officers tailing it before bringing it to a stop on West 5th Street.
It comes off comically, but at the same time, it is a really serious matter. The person was driving a full-size HSR bus on our roads. There's pedestrians. There was at least 10 passengers on board at the time.
The entire incident lasted about 15 minutes.
people to be jailed.
I say it was crazy, especially when the bus driver's right there almost.
It was very dangerous for the passengers.
A statement from the city's transit division reads in part, "The safety of transit riders and HSR operators is our primary focus, and we are grateful that no one was hurt. We are fully cooperating with the Hamilton Police Service to understand how this incident occurred, and staff will work to implement any changes that would help prevent similar incidents in the future."
We're thankful there was no injuries, there was no collision. This person took a full-size HSR bus under their own control. And we're thankful that it wasn't more serious than it was.
Police say he was arrested on West 5th near Gateview Drive. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, the northern lights are on full display right now, illuminating night skies across North America. Unfortunately, cloud cover means our region will most likely miss out on the experience. But as Paul Hollingsworth reports, that's not the case out east.
When Tiffany Fields looked outside late last night, she saw the colorful display of the northern lights in the Nova Scotia sky.
It was just pink and red and glowing, and it was incredible.
The northern lights are solar storms that happen when electrically charged particles from the sun collide with gases in the Earth's atmosphere. An astronomy technician at St. Mary's University, Fields was ready to capture the moment with countless pictures on her phone.
And I could see the faint green glow in my camera, and I was just so excited.
So was Mark Perkin, who lives on Nova Scotia's Big Tancook Island and shot this photo.
When we get the northern lights coming out like that, so strong and lighting up the entire sky, we can walk out our front door and it's right there. You got the ocean, you got the sky, and you don't know where one ends and the other begins.
This geomagnetic storm was so strong, so powerful. People saw the northern lights here in Canada, as far south as Florida, through the state of Texas, on the west coast in California, and in numerous states in the U.S. Midwest.
It was very strong, produced a lot of colors in the sky that were very high in altitude and then sort of able to be seen for hundreds of kilometers along the northern horizons.
Fields says there's another solar storm coming tonight, and she hopes it's as stunning as Tuesday's experience. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.